Hey guys, I wanted to just do a real quick video. I had a friend, one of my friends on Facebook, and he's just having a hard time with life. Different people are having a hard time, and he doesn't think that. Essentially, commented like, "Why does God hate me?" And um, I replied back. I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean by hate you? Because I want to. I don't. I just want to know what he's talking about. Um, and he went to explaining different things, and he basically says that every time he seeks after or tries to go to church or something like that, um, everything starts going wrong and that sort of thing. And I was telling him, I sent him a message back and saying that that's actually pretty normal, right? What came to my mind is Job, right? Now, people don't realize this because they misspeak it a lot of times. But God was, okay, so God was in heaven. The devil came to the Lord because he can come to him in the lower realm of heaven, right? And he came to him and he was like, um, God said, "What have you been doing?" And the devil's like, "I've been roaming around, going here and there on the earth," right? And he said, after that, God says, "Have you considered my servant Job?" In other words, have you considered trying to get Job? Isn't that interesting? That God would say, "Have you considered my servant Job?" And that the devil was like, "What? What are you what do you he first of all, Job does everything you ask him, and he's the most righteous man basically on the earth right now. Why would you tell me to consider him? Second of all, he's got a hedge of protection around him and I can't touch him. So why I don't understand why you're telling me this." And God was like, okay, basically he told him that he would lift the protection and he could do whatever he wanted to Job, but he can't kill him. I think he can't touch him. I think in that one he said he can't touch him. Um, so anyway, uh, that's how. And if Job was the most righteous, even God said he was the most righteous, right? Most righteous man. Yet God said, "Have you considered my servant Job?" And it's a really interesting thing because we think on the level of, if I'm doing what's right, only good things can happen to me. And that's not really how life works. Because you could do what's right and bad things can happen to you. Okay? Partially, and I think the reason, just me personally, I think the reason for that is, and some people will come to this conclusion too, is that God doesn't want us, and this is what I was telling my friend, is that God doesn't want us to have a superficial lifestyle living. He doesn't want us to live superficially. If we were to get everything we ever wanted all the time at all points, whenever we wanted to, we would obviously be superficial. Like, we really wouldn't be living. We couldn't get down into the depths of relating to things and other people because it would stop short to, I want this, I got it. I want this, I got it. It would stop there. It wouldn't go further than that. And so that's one of the things I was telling him. And the interesting thing about Job, at the end of Job, after it goes through all of this stuff, the devil comes back to God and says, um, "I've done all this, but he still hasn't cursed you." And he goes, "If I touch his body, he'll curse you." And he said, "Well, you touch his body, but you can't kill him." God said, "Touch his body, but you can't kill him." And so he goes back and messes with Job. Job has the worst life you could possibly. Nobody has ever had it as bad as Job, basically, except for Jesus, probably. Other than that, nobody has had it as bad as Job on the earth. There's no way. All your children died. Um, your wife is telling you to curse God and die. You have the worst legions and stuff and most pain. Your friends are telling you must have done something wrong. Nobody has had it as bad as Job. But at the end of Job, he says, there's something, oh my goodness, there's a understanding that's too wonderful for me to explain. It's too deep for me to comprehend. So he came to an understanding about things that he didn't understand before, because probably he was living on a certain level, and what he went through brought him to a deeper level, or you want to say higher level, but a deeper level, where he really got some uh, just a depth of reality that he never got before. So anyway, I'm just saying that because life is not about necessarily getting everything that we want, obviously, because we would just be like spoiled brats if we got everything that we wanted, right? We also wouldn't be able to take anything. We also wouldn't be able to learn anything. We wouldn't be able to do anything, like deal with stuff, right? Um, that's one thing with your children. If you give them everything they want at all times, every single time, and you never teach them to deal with things, right, as they get older and stuff like that. If you go, well, I'm going to do everything for you, when they get out into the real world, they're not going to know how to do anything, and you've basically severely handicapped your children. So, God being good, does he want to severely handicap his children? So, anyway, I just wanted to uh, put that out there for whoever wants to hear it, and hopefully gain the wisdom that's coming from the book of Job. All right, thanks, guys. Bye.